Welcome to the Business Playbook. I'm Jak Carlin and this is David Hatt, founder of MTN Coaching. The Business Playbook is sponsored by A1 SEO, putting you at the top of Google, and it's brought to you by Alleyoop. We're a performance marketing agency specialising in Google Ads. David, we're big believers here that everyone's winging it and no one's actually got their shit together. But you run MTN Coaching. You run MTN Coaches Academy. You've worked with over 4,000 clients over the last 6 years. Mm-hmm. You have been responsible for or contributed to over 1,000 body transformations. You've got 13 coaches. You created the Fat Loss Project, the Growth Project, and the 12-Week Peak, which is the biggest, Scotland's biggest, UK's biggest transformation
I'd
program.
say Scotland's for sure.
Scotland's for sure. You also hosted the UK's biggest fitness photo shoot.
Yeah.
And you document everything that you do on Instagram. Like, you've got a very active life yourself.
Yeah.
Have you got your shit together?
In some areas, maybe. In some areas, definitely not. I think, like you mentioned, winging it there. And I think everyone does wing it to a certain point.
Yep.
But I think like you need to wing it to get started before you sort of create systems, processes and whatever else. And I think that's what I've done across the last sort of 11 years of being a personal trainer and across the last 6 years of running MTN Coaching. So 100% there's been an element of winging parts of things until you get to a certain stage and it's like, cool, I've kind of got a bit of an idea of what I'm doing there and a bit of a process. But even now, like as the business grows and as we work with more people and bring on more coaches, there's an element of things that are new are still being winged until I learn how to, I suppose, not wing them, I suppose.
Right, okay. For full disclosure, because I probably will refer to it throughout the podcast, this is the second time that we've recorded the podcast for a couple of reasons. I was pre-hair transplant for the first reason. So before I tried to bank a few episodes, and then what I quickly realised was that your life and business had changed so much that it was kind of out of date. And I was like, do you want to come in and do it again? Yeah. Partly because, you'd got engaged, you'd had a baby, gone viral for my baby, and your proposal. There was quite a lot of things, obviously, with the business as well that I was like, actually, and obviously we're in the run up to the 12-week peak. Mm-hmm. So I thought this is probably a good time for us to re-record the podcast. Mm-hmm. I do mention on one of the podcasts before, if you've watched the podcast already, that is the first podcast in the new studio. This podcast might go out first or second in the new studio. Again, to kind of get everyone in the build up to the 12-week peak, because I think people will tune in if they are considering it. Can you tell us about what the 12-week peak is, where it came from, and give us a bit of kind of insight into, we'll come back to like your journey so far. Can you start off with the 12-week peak?
12-week peak is a body transformation challenge or a program or experience, I like to call it as well now. So I think I've kind of coined the phrase of it's not just a program anymore, it is an experience. So we had 582 people sign up last year. And it's very much a 12-week coaching program delivered by myself and the 11 coaches that work within the brand right now. It accumulates at the end with a big fitness photo shoot. We've got a black tie ball. We give away over £10,000 worth of prize money to the winners. And it's just a coaching program that, to be honest, it initially started to change people's physiques. Like that was what it was all about, get them from A to B. But more than that now, it's kind of transformed into something that changes people's lives in like a number of different ways. Like people have reported like relationship changes. They've met friends for life. We've had 3 people meet who they're now married to through the program.
No danger.
So it's
you got any 12-week peak babies yet?
Have we got any 10? Is mine a 12-week peak baby? Of course they did do the 12-week peak before we had a kid, but I don't know if we. In fact, no, we do. So Danielle, actually, the winner of 2021, she won a holiday to Cancun, all expenses paid. Her fiance asked to marry her on that trip that we kind of awarded her for winning, and then she's just fallen pregnant. She didn't meet him through the 12-week peak though, so I can't claim that one. So I'm sure there's a few 12-week peak babies somewhere. Maybe ones that people don't know about as well.
So if anyone who's watching and by the end of this podcast decides that they want to sign up, we'll put a link in the description. That'll send them to your landing page. That'll all be live and ready to book by the time this podcast goes out. Can you tell us a bit about so this is the Business Playbook. There's lots of podcasts where you talk about training, nutrition, your own kind of life and journey, but because we're the Business Playbook, we want to really dive into the story of the business. So can you tell us about how you got started right for the start?
Yeah, so I started as a like personal trainer in a budget gym 11 years ago, exercise for less. Spent kind of 4 years on the gym floor doing that thing and kind of building that side of the business. Now at that stage, I'll be honest, it wasn't a business. It was just me training people in a gym for a bit of money, which I suppose maybe is a business, but there was no sort of systems, infrastructure, finances were all over the place. The marketing strategy was me posting my six pack on Instagram, or Facebook actually it was back in the day. And that was it. That was literally the business in a box. And it was successful. Like I was making quite a lot of money for being a 21-year-old, 22-year-old.
Yep. And
had a decent level of success and sort of people knew me in the like Paisley, Renfrew, Glasgow area as a personal trainer. And in 2018, I decided to move to Dubai. Classic PT wanker. I was like, I'll go to Dubai. So I moved to Dubai, only went there for a year, really good year. That's where I actually started delivering online coaching. Largely out of the fact that I couldn't get clients in Dubai. I'll be honest, I spent that year just drinking and partying. So picking up clients in Dubai was a little bit harder. So I decided that I'd pitch all of my old clients back home this sort of online offer. Now, 7 years ago, online coaching was not a thing. Like really, the only people delivering online coaching were really like bodybuilders helping other bodybuilders. It wasn't really normal-ish. I'd say I'm normal-ish. People delivering coaching to like lifestyle clients. So like Gen Pop. So I was like, fuck it, I'm going to try this. And it kind of snowballed from there. I had like 28 people sign up to the first intake-based thing that I done.
It was it still Hatt training?
Yeah, that was before I had a company, so that was just like under my own personal brand, which was just David Hatt, I suppose. So I've done that for the most of 2018, moved back to Glasgow in 2019. At that stage, I had a big waiting list of people that wanted to work with me that couldn't. I then took on 2 coaches that, again, still just worked under my personal brand name of David Hatt. And then I kind of decided, like, this isn't going to scale under my name. Like, I wasn't a big influencer. Like, I had an okay social media following, but I wasn't viral by any means. So I decided to launch a company because I thought it'd be better for people to work under a company brand than David Hatt.
Yeah, I think last time you gave us a couple of examples of the types of people who PTs would be happy to work under, or where that model works. Yeah,
like big names in the fitness industry. I think people with 100,000 plus followers that, you know, provide a lot of leads in that sense. Right. I think like it would be cool working under someone like that, like a professional bodybuilder or someone that's really big on social media, but had like 8,000 followers. It was by no means massive.
Enough to feed leads into the people
enough to
who
feed
are
leads
working for you.
To me, for sure. And that was the problem as well. Like I found I wanted to hire people to handle my leads, but my leads wanted to work with me, so I had to solve that problem. That's why I started a company, so that my leads were then my company's leads, and the company had other coaches that sort of provided the service.
And they work with MTN rather than...
And they work with MTN rather than David Hatt. So that was 2019, and then, to be honest, just since then, there's been like various iterations of the team. We've had about 20 different coaches over the last 6 years. There's currently 11, and then 13, including me and my partner, who do a lot of stuff for the business as well. So it's kind of it's grown at a decent level. And yeah, that's where we're at right now.
Is this year, or was it last year, was the first year that you kind of moved away from coaching altogether, like for you?
Yeah, last year I just kind of hung up my stop watching muscle. Started just fully focusing on the business side of things. Didn't have any actual fitness coaching clients, and I started just servicing the actual business and then the coaches that work within the business as well. So that was a big change, sort of the identity shift from being a personal trainer and online coach for 11 years to just being like a business owner. And that took a bit of adjusting, but I feel like this year will be the first full year of like 0 coaching clients on my end, and just really going all at it.
What about during things like Growth Project, 12-week peak? Do you have clients allocated to you for those?
Not anymore, no. Really? This will be the
okay.
first ever year that I've not coached the 12-week peak program. I say that if we exceed my current goal of client numbers, then I probably will end up doing something.
You kind of guess that. We need some numbers on that. So what are those numbers, and give us something?
So,
because I have watched a podcast before where you said, I hope we get over 500 signups, and it was about a couple of years ago.
Yeah, we done 582. So
it
took me 2 years to get the 500. We done 582 signups last year, so we worked with 582 clients across one program, which was insane.
Do you have a maximum upper limit this time? Like what's the number that you go, we can't? Like at what point is it full?
I'll be honest, I'd make it work. I have like enough coaches in my network that don't work for me that I could subcontract to deliver the coaching side of things. So I'll be completely honest. If 2,000 people try and sign up, I will make it work.
Really?
100%.
Is that going to? Is that generally? people listening to this will be
No, I'm
interested
nowhere
in
near
this.
2,000, I'll be honest.
But people watching this will be interested in whether will that impact your marketing, saying that publicly? Because do you run like, is there a scarcity element to your
100%,
marketing?
yeah.
Where you're like, you sign up now.
Scarcity and urgency is the two biggest drivers for all of our sales. So every year we've got a sort of public number that we tell the world. And I know that not a lot of my clients are going to listen to this, so that's fine. I can say that.
It's the reason I signed up for the Growth Project on the day that I did.
Well, there you go.
Because you said if the people who sign up for the Growth Project before the end of the weekend or something like that, or today,
priority access to
get
something
priority
else.
access to 12-week peak. And I was like, well, I definitely want to do 12-week peak, send it to the Growth Project.
Scarcity and urgency have always been the biggest drivers for pretty much everything I've done. And it's not necessarily false scarcity. Like, we just change things.
Yep.
So like we're open right now. Like our goal for this year is 600 people, which is only 18 more than last year. My sort of private goal 700. All that's going to happen when we hit 600, which I'm pretty confident we will this year, is we're going to shut the site down for a day, email those people to say, give us a few days, we're working on something, and then we'll have a contingency plan, which is largely going to be me bringing on a coach that's already being trained right now. So this will be quite good when we hit that, because I can release this clip and say, I always had this plan in place.
Right.
But we've got other coaches sort of lined up to start working with us when we have capacity.
So when we recorded the first podcast in July last year, I said to you, I'm going to do 12-week peak.
Yeah.
And you're like, I was like, I've said it now on the podcast.
Yeah.
And I was quite.
You said that again, so you're definitely doing it now.
Aye, so that's I'll do the same. What you're doing is saying, I'm definitely going to do.
That's something I'm big on, like public accountabilities. And I've failed with dozens and dozens of my goals, and I'm completely fine with failing at them, because I do believe they can, what's the cringe phrase? Shoot for the stars, and if you don't hit it, you'll whatever it is.
Shoot for the moon.
I always, yeah, exactly. Yeah, you hit the stars or some shit. Some awful phrase that hopefully doesn't get clipped up. I've always been big on sort of overreaching on my goals, with being okay with not necessarily hitting them the first year. I think if I look at like most of the goals in my life have taken about 60% longer than what I thought, but I've hit pretty much every one of them at some point. I.e., 500 signups was my goal in 2023, didn't get it in 2024. In fact, 2022. Didn't get it in 23, didn't get it in 24, and we did get it in 2025. So it took me longer than I thought, but I still got there, so I'm cool with it.
We're going to talk about this after, but that's because you didn't have paid ads.
I would agree. I would agree.
We've talked about how that's a lever that you could potentially pull.
Yeah, like all of our,
at the moment,
like
everything's organic.
I'll be honest, that every time we speak to anyone in fitness, they are blown away by the numbers that we do organically. Like I know plenty of people in the fitness industry that have 400, 500,000 followers. Like they are viral accounts, they are big influencers, and they cannot sell even half of what we sell and get people to sign up, but also they can't retain business and continually get. So I know that we've got a good service. I'm now at a stage where I'm like, cool, I need to scale this, and it's like genuinely like a big part of it's going to be paid ads.
So we're jumping right in, because I wanted to kind of go through that process of how you go from just you to 13 coaches. But we're talking about the part that I'm really interested in. And I always think that if I'm interested in it, the people who listen to it might be interested as well. On that, the organic stuff that you're doing just now, talk to us about the Nurture program, because one of my experience, and I texted you about it on the morning that I signed up for the Growth Project, I was like, the customer journey is unbelievable. Mm-hmm. It's like you're answering the questions that might come into my head in 5 minutes' time. You're answering it then, and then if there is a question, the answer's there. Talk to us about how you design that and how that kind of process, because it's something that we're trying to do with the agency, where we go, right, we onboard a client. What's their customer journey like? Yeah, we need to make sure that it can be as smooth as possible. We reduce as much friction as possible. Yeah. Talk to me about that process.
I think more recently I've started looking at all the different touch points of what people get when they start following a business or potentially wanting to work with a business. So typically the first thing that they'll do is follow you on social media. So what does your social media content look like, and how does it make them feel? For me, it's like, mine's is quite lighthearted. There's a lot of sarcasm. There's a lot of humour there, which is great, because that's the kind of people that I want to attract. So that's like a big part of that. And then I just looked at like every aspect of where do they go next. So the next place that they go is going to be the sign up form. Does that one have a similar theme to what your social media content is? It can't be completely different. There must be like something similar going on there. And then the next thing that they do is fill out a questionnaire for us. That then gives us a lot of information from them, which can guide us towards giving them the right, resources to kind of get them going. To be honest, like I've just bought a lot of other fitness programs and done a lot of market research on how bad things are. And I thought, what do I hate about this? Why do I hate it, and how do I make sure my business doesn't have that? So I think that's a big thing that I've done. I've always I've bought lots of fitness people's programs under different names, seen what's inside, seen what I love, and take inspiration and ideas from it. Seen what I fucking hate, why do I hate it, what's bad about it, and changed it. And I've realised in the fitness industry, the thing that everyone's missing is lack of accountability. Like there's no accountability. Like it's every complaint that people come to us with is, hey, I worked with a PT in the past and they never spoke to me. So I was like, cool, our value moving forward is unrivaled accountability. Our big thing is providing a level of accountability better than anyone else, because it's the thing that no one's doing that well. So I was like, everyone's delivering a training plan. It's the same shit. Like you've trained for 15, 20 years. Can guarantee what you do in the gym now is not that different to 10 years ago.
No.
It's the same stuff.
There's no silver bullet.
Yeah, it's the same exercises. Nutrition's quite similar. You got a calorie goal, a protein goal. You maybe get some macros. Great. You've got a water goal. Everyone knows you should sleep more, manage stress. The same shit. What people aren't doing is holding their clients accountable to things. And I think that's where we want to, and we're not there yet. It's not perfect, but we want to continually improve that.
Systems that you use as well.
Yeah.
Because that's another thing is you've got the app, you've got the school platform. Like, how do you talk to me about that? How did you get in it?
I love building processing systems. Like I think that's what I'm most excited for this year, for not actually coaching any clients, to just like make it like the smoothest, cleanest process ever. Yeah. And the program's ran for 6 years. So every single year, feedback form goes out. What did you like? What did you hate? What did you rate? You know what I mean? Like we are very big on asking clients for feedback, but also asking my coaches for feedback. Like, what did you not like about the delivery of this? What made it hard for you to deliver this to 50, 60 people? And just reiterating it every single year. So like I genuinely, like our sort of tagline's better than yesterday. And I mean that from a health and fitness standpoint, but I also mean it from my business. Like if my business isn't better every single year, cool, in revenue, yes, and you know, numbers and whatever else, but if the actual business and what we're delivering is not better every single year, I kind of feel like I'm failing. Like progress to me is like the biggest driver.
Has there been one, like the biggest thing, the biggest change or the biggest thing that you implemented that went, wow, that's taken us from here to there? Like that's a massive game changer for us.
Probably email marketing.
Right. Okay.
So I've paid an exuberant amount of money to one of my best mates now to do my email marketing for the last 6 years. Chris Burns. I was going to say his Instagram name, but he's changed it. Storyseller_Chris.
Yep.
He's done my email marketing for the last 6 years. No one in fitness, not no one, very few people in fitness are doing email marketing well. There's lots of people that are big on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, whatever else, but they don't have a good email marketing funnel. What I love about email is like you own the email list. Yep. Instagram can close down, Facebook can close down. If you look at the algorithm changes already on things like Instagram, even like SEO to an extent can change how that's distributed and whatever else. Email list, like providing that you download that email list every kind of 3 to 6 months, like you own the list, like they've opted in to give you their contact details. Even better if you've got their mobile number as well. Like you can do a lot of stuff with SMS as well now, which we want to start doing. So yeah, I'd say like implementing email marketing. Like so many people are surprised at how many of our sales, when I speak to them, come through email versus social, because we've got like a decent social following, like 18k on the company's Instagram, which is like all right. And our email list at its peak was 15, 16k, and right now it's sitting about 10k because we've done a big kind of clear out. But those are engaged.
Of unengaged people.
People that hadn't opened their email in X months.
So what was the criteria? Do you know what the criteria was, or did you use a system to do that?
For opens?
Yeah,
just
to clear it out.
So Chris's system for that was, so we had like a re-engagement campaign that we put out to try and basically see, hey, we're going to stop sending you emails unless you reply to this. We sent 3 or 4 of them. Anyone that didn't reply within X time frame, we just called them off the list. Now that was typically people that had been unengaged for like 6 months plus. Anyone that was still reasonably like open in 1 or 2, they of course stayed in the list.
Have you still got them? Those emails, have you actually cleared them out? And like
no, I'll have them somewhere.
Right.
Yeah.
So you've not done any paid marketing for those?
Not what?
No, you've done any like paid ads on those email
So that's accounts. What I was looking at this year to actually, So like
performance marketing thing, what you could do with that email, you upload that to Meta. You try the problem that you've got with that is that a lot of people who set up their Facebook account, like my email address on my Facebook account is like JackC91, an email address that I don't use. But the people who do have a corresponding email with their Facebook account, you can identify their account. As long as you've got a decent level, which we know you have, you can then start to market to people who are lapsed clients who haven't engaged with you with content. But you could also have people who do engage with you getting a different like level of the funnel. You can then start to build like lookalike audiences of those people. So going to other people so that's something that we
that was a big thing. I was working with an ads guy last year to learn Facebook ads, because I'll be honest, like I've tried various agencies. We spoke about this last time, and it wasn't the experience that I wanted. Maybe part of it was with me. I'll be honest, most of it was on the one guy that we'll speak about after.
Well, I tried to get you a name on last time.
I'll tell you after. Fuck that guy. I was like, do you know what? Even if I'm not doing it all the time, I want to learn the overall process of doing it. So I paid a few grand last year to work with a guy, Tim, who's really, really good in the fitness space. He's done a lot of stuff in fitness. And it was great. He taught me like the bare bones of like setting up a Facebook ad, and I'd done it for a while, and I was like, oh, nah, like it's just, I don't know, I've got this weird blocker on running ads. I think because we've, like I spoke about, like all of our sales have came through organic, so I've got that. I don't need to spend money to make money, even though I know longer term it is exactly what I need to do.
But it might not be, because actually when you're buying customers, you've got a client acquisition cost, and those people might actually have a lower lifetime value because they don't stay with you as long, because they're not as engaged. Yeah. So you do need to weigh those two things up. But
I think having both, I think you should always have both.
It was probably 2 or 3 years ago that you were on Dale's podcast the first time, and you said, I'm going to learn ads. I was going to reach out to you then.
Ads is the... most people have got something in their life. For some people, it's fitness. I'm going to get in shape. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. Or, I'm going to run a marathon. Whatever it is. Like, Facebook ads is like the one thing that I've consistently said that I'm going to do, and I've just not done. So, and do you know what part of it is? I also know that it's harder now than ever, and you don't get the same return as you did 10 years ago. So I'm like, fuck, I missed the boat with that.
So I'm not trying to plug.
I know.
But I would say this as a guy who runs a marketing agency, right? But like, you could learn it, and you could get really good at it, and it'll cost you a lot of money to do that, because you need to. But actually, you can appoint an agent if you get a good agency that knows exactly.
My big thing wasn't to learn it to always do it myself. It was to learn it so that if someone's speaking to me about it, I understand what they're speaking to me about. Because the issue with the last ads guy was he was speaking to me about stuff, and I was like, yeah, fucking do whatever, mate. I don't know. Whereas now I'm like, I've got an understanding of how to set it up. I've got an understanding of analytics. So at least if I'm looking at it, he was telling me numbers last time, and I was like, is that good? He's like, yeah, that's amazing. And then I actually found out, the cost of acquisition was absolutely terrible. So I was like, okay, cool. So I feel like I want that basic understanding.
We've got a client who's coming on the podcast. It's called Nicholas Scullion. He runs Scullion Law. And during the process of selling to him, I was talking about like the metrics that we track, and his line back to me, and it's class, I've used it in every sales pitch since. I want to get a printed no in the office. He said, Jack, I measure these things in pounds and pence. Right, and it's like that. I don't care how many people seen the ad, clicked on the ad, how much money did I make back for that pound that I spent? And that's where, if you get like an agency that are good, or if you learn it and you're good at it, you'll be able to see that and see, for every pound that I spent, I made £8 back. Why would you ever stop feeding that machine?
Another kind of thing for me with ads is also we've got a few, I suppose, businesses within the business. Like you said, we've got 12-week peak growth project, Fatless project. We've also got the bespoke coaching side of things, which is basically the coaches delivering a higher price service. But most of them are capped, and most of them sit pretty much fully booked year round because they're good at what they do. So I'm like, right, I can't run ads to them. 12-week peak, I can run ads for 3 weeks of the year, or I could run ads to a waiting list and whatever else. What we are currently building is like a 6-week repeatable program that will be the sort of top of funnel where people start with us. Super cheap, get them in the door, get them to do this 6-week program, then they're qualified to do other higher price stuff with us. That's the thing that I know will be our most scalable asset, and it's the thing that I can run ads to. Whereas like 12-week peak, I'm like, there's so many other moving parts to that, and I'm like, fuck it, I'll just, it's fine. It's been fine organic so far.
One of the things we talked about last time, why the 12-week peak's only once a year? If it's as successful as it is for the people who do it, for you, for the coaches.
I don't think it would. I think if we ran it twice a year, it would dilute the numbers. So like last year we done 582 and it ran once a year. I think if we done 2 of them last year, it would have done, maybe 350 and 350. So cool, it done 700 people, but the actual workload for that is obscene. The amount of work that takes, 1 to build it, 2 to market it, 3 to sell it and deliver it is a lot. And if I was to look at like maximizing every inch of money out of my business, could maybe do it twice a year, whatever else. But there's also an element of me like, I quite like having a quieter end of the year. I quite like having a sprints and jogs.
Do you do something after the 12-week peak? Do you go on holiday? Do you have like a...
It depends, because a lot of people continue with us in some capacity after that. So there's that sort of period of moving them forward to the next service. But usually there's a sort of 8. I used to go abroad for 4 months of every year. So like that's how I've kind of lived my life. Now recently, since having a kid, that's going to change. I'm not going to spend four months of the year out of the country. So it might change now, and I think we could potentially run it more than once a year, but I wouldn't run it in Glasgow. I would run it in multiple cities. So I would have 12-week peak Glasgow, 12-week peak Dubai, 12-week peak Manchester, 12-week peak Bahrain or something. Maybe not Bahrain,
do it in different areas.
So that's my plan with that.
You mentioned having a baby. What impact has that had on your business life? You used to be an early 5 a.m. Starbucks
Now I'm 4 a.m, my own house. I mean, yeah, like I was a personal trainer from the age of 19. My first client was 6 a.m, so I've got up at 4:30 or 5 for the last 12 years. I think I'll always do it. I like having the mornings to myself. I like not having contact with anyone for the first 3 hours of my day.
I don't know, because I need to jump in here. I remember seeing on your Instagram when you went away to London and you went away for a break yourself.
Yeah.
And you booked this minted
Apartment
villa or something
yeah.
like that, and it had like a skylight.
Yeah.
And you were like, oh, the skylight's a pain in the arse because I'm trying to go to my bed and go to sleep at like 8
8
o'clock at night and it's still light outside. And I was like, what's the point in getting up at 4 a.m if you need to go to bed at 8 at night?
Do you know what? That's even easier now because the baby wants to go to sleep at 8 at night, so it's fucking perfect. I just like getting up early. I like being up before most people. There's probably like an element of like I feel like I'm starting the day before other people. Definitely an element of that. The other element is like nobody's up to bother me at that time. Even the coaches that work with the brand, cool, they got up early as well, but they're not sat at a laptop at 5:30. So yeah, impact wise from having Harrison, who is 5 months now. Weirdly, less than what I thought. I thought the tiredness would have killed productivity and work rate and concentration, whatever else. And I think it definitely impacts energy. But I think what's taken from an energy standpoint from lack of sleep, you actually get more energy for the fact that you've got a baby to provide for, and there's like a stronger driver. I'll be honest, like I've been a pretty selfish guy my entire life, so having a baby sort of changed that side of me. So there's now another part of my life that I need to think about rather than just myself. So I've got a big driver now. So I think any of the lack of concentration, lack of energy, I'm feeling tired, it's just kind of stunted by, I'm like, cool, I've got a baby that I want to provide a good life for. So so far so good. So far so good. Sleep is fucked. That's why my eyes look like this. But
are you nervous about the first 12-week peak as a dad?
To be honest, the next 6 weeks when I'm building the 12-week peak is the hardest period. Delivering it's relatively easy now in comparison.
Is that because at that point it's over to the coaches and it's over to the people who are on it? Your job is to sell it.
Yeah, my job nowadays is to build the infrastructure that delivers the program and to obviously sell it, and the coaches deliver the accountability, the coaching, the meetups, the sessions and things like that. So the next 6 weeks is the hardest 6 weeks, and I've spoke to my partner, and if there's nights that I need to sleep downstairs to get a good sleep, she's cool with that. She's very much on board with the business. She's worked within the business at some point as well, and when she comes back from maternity, she's going to work full time for me as well. So no, we're very like on board with what needs to happen the next 6 weeks. I'll be honest as well, like the 12-week peak, I have a strange business because I have aspects of my business that's very big on MRR, and we got a lot of like recurring revenue, and then I've got the 12-week peak, which does 70% of my revenue in 3 days.
Does it, right? So this is something that's interesting, because you're talking about 580 people signing up. It's 450 quid.
Yeah, it's 200 grand plus.
A lot of people go, oh, that's a $250,000 quid. Yeah. But it obviously costs you a lot of money to deliver that, and it's like there's more to it than that.
People don't see that, and that I actually was speaking to someone recently, and they said something about me being rich, and I was like, I'm certainly not rich. I was like, how much money do you think I made? And she gave me a figure, and I was like, that's 10x what I make. She was like, really? I was like, yeah. I was like, where on earth have you got that number from? She was like, I just see all the clients that you've got. And I was like, yeah, there's 11 coaches. I've got a PA, I've got a full-time copywriter, I've got a content team. Like, the costs are high. The welcome packs that we send out cost me like 30 grand. Like
for the 12-week peak.
Yeah. So like, I'm like, there's stuff that we give out 10 grand of prize money. We take people on holiday. We do stuff like that. I've got team events. Ball. I've got the black tie ball. Again, clients buy tickets for that, so a lot of that is covered. But there's still elements to that we cover. Bought a fancy car with a business. They pay for that. But no, like the business does, probably impressive numbers to the average personal trainer. They're not impressive numbers by, a decent business owner in my eyes. But my personal income's not that high anymore. Mostly to save on personal tax.
I was going to say, so the model, so that's another interesting thing, is that your guys are they self-employed, and they
they're subcontractors.
They subcontract, and they basically license the brand.
Yeah, it's a franchisee.
And the lead. Is it an official brand? Right, okay.
Yeah, so
talk to us about the model.
The model is largely to save me on VAT and corporation tax in the most legal way possible. So part of it's that.
We'll clip that.
Part of it's that. Part of it is from an organisation standpoint, it's just easier. I don't need to deal with contracts in the same way. Yep. I don't need to deal with PAYE. I don't need to deal with pensions. I don't need to deal with sick pay. I can get rid of coaches if I needed to, which I've not. Easy enough. And
there's less risk because you're not paying. You're
less risk.
If
Gives them
leads
more
dry
autonomy.
up or the amount of business that you're doing dry up then?
It gives them more autonomy. So essentially, they pay me to be part of the MTN franchisee brand, and it's worked really well.
Do they have a minimum level of like coaching they need to be doing to qualify? How do you qualify someone to be an MTN coach?
I'd say it changes every year. It changes and develops, and
depending on what the business needs.
Yeah, for sure. Like 75% of our clients are female. So I knew there was a point where there was 6 guys working with the brand. I was like, cool. We all do work with females, but I probably want to bring on some more female coaches. So there's been an element of that. Yeah. Right. Got such a diverse team, like from all walks of life, from all experience levels, shapes, sizes, physiques, interests, mindsets, beliefs.
Some of your coaches previous 12-week peakers?
Yeah, a good few. Yeah,
right, okay.
Again, that's a funnel for me finding coaches as well, right. Which I think I'm going to grow this year. I think we're going to do. I always thought about doing.
We're definitely going to even restart the ads.
What's that? Yeah, exactly. I actually always thought of doing not The Apprentice. Is it The Apprentice? Yeah. So basically, like, I'll get a group of coaches and they'll compete against each other.
Would you do that as a content piece?
For a job? Yeah, I've thought about this. It'd be a total, like, so much organisation for not that much return, but I think it'd be cool.
It would be good. I think that'd
so,
be
like, The Apprentice for like becoming an MTN coach, because like last time we put out a application to join the brand, we had 95 people apply. With like, wasn't on Indeed. That was me throwing up a type form on Instagram. So like, we've got a lot of people that want to work with the brand. I think because it's a fun company to be in.
Right,
it pays well.
So it pays well, but if those people can bring clients, why would you not have 95 coaches sign up? Because they don't cost you anything. Mm-hmm. They pay you a percentage of
what they make.
And if you've not watched the podcast that we done with Callum White from White & Co, really interesting podcast. At the time of recording, he had 380 brokers that all paid him. They commission only. Mm-hmm. Now he's got about 600.
Wow.
They make on average £250,000
and they're paying him a percentage of that.
But they pay him a percentage.
Yeah.
So why would you not just have 95 coaches if it's not costing you any money to sign them up and they pay you a percentage of what they get from the coaching?
Onboard and delivery standards. I know with 95 coaches, I don't have the onboard and delivery or standards to train that amount of people to deliver what I would want without my brand getting tarnished.
Brilliant, right, okay.
So that's the main thing right now, and that's something that we're looking to do. So like a big part of what we want to build is, maybe not 95, but certainly 5 coaches per year is my goal for the next kind of 10 years, to build up towards 50 plus coaches. If it got to a stage where like I felt I could deliver and onboard and train and deliver that same standards, there's nothing stopping me doing that. And that's definitely like another mammoth business in itself, alongside the 12-week peak, whatever else we've got. So that's, there's 2 legs of my business. That's one of them, the kind of franchisee side, and the other side of it is the group coaching programs, 12-week peak, Fat Loss Project, Growth Project. So that's definitely on our mind to grow and scale that. There's push and pull with me on this, because like I love the close-knit team that we've got right now, and even since taking on the 2 newest girls that we have, already I'm like, right, okay, I can't have 11 one-to-ones, I can't have all these direct reports, so I've had to start creating a bit of a hierarchy within the team. There's a bit of middle management and things like that as well. And
there's a really interesting model that you've got for that as well. So can you talk to us about, like, Alex doesn't pay a commission anymore?
So he actually doesn't pay us a kind of consultancy fee anymore, a franchisee fee, based on the fact that he delivers a lot of those one-to-ones for me. So he's, I suppose, rewarded in that sense, because he takes 6 hours off my hands on a weekly basis. So the model moving forward would be, I mean, you can call it a pyramid if you want, but like essentially
all businesses up under
exactly,
if you actually look at them.
So to build a sort of hierarchy of, I am the company owner, I have multiple head coaches that have multiple senior coaches that work under them, and maybe some of those senior coaches have emerging coaches, which is the 3 kind of standards of coaching that we have within the company. That's my longer term goal. There's a lot of like infrastructure, and to be honest, there's probably more contracts and stuff that I need to look at for that. So
because in theory, all you really need is more coaches, more leads, and to be able to maintain that standard. But that's very easy to say. But
yeah, if I look at like, the way to scale any business is similar. Get more customers and make them worth more money. Like that's the 2 main ways for me. Like leads is definitely, we could handle 1,000 people for the 12-week peak. So now I'm like, well, why don't we have 1,000? That's what I want to work on. And if we did have 1,000 and it went to shit, what went to shit? Okay, cool. The coaching standard wasn't the same. That's fixable.
What percentage of people are local when they sign up for 12-week peak?
Yeah, like
that's surely a lever that you go, well, actually, what happens if we start to reach out in different areas, either through ads or through content or like events?
The blocker with paid ads for something like the 12-week peak, again, not a blocker, but like limitation maybe, and you can say, correct me if I'm wrong, coming in to buy a fitness product at $450 is a reasonable amount of money straight off the bat.
Yep.
From a paid ad from a company that you've never heard of is harder in comparison to what I'd rather do is probably nurture them with free product, low price product, then when the 12-week peak is launching, retarget them with the 12-week peak program. That would be my initial thought on that.
So
we can chat about that as well.
I had a conversation this week with a business that was very similar. One of the ones that we looked at was it March on? It's a similar business, but because they've got a personal brand at the front of it that's not
massive,
regional, then they can then lean on that. But you could run that, but there's lots of them that like based out Dubai, things like that. Like
the 12-week peak as well. Like I don't want 500 people from London. Like a big part of what we do is in person.
Community. So that's another thing. You do a lot in person.
There's events.
It is a much more local feel.
I think that the other growth lever would be, like I said, launching it in different cities and going, fuck it, we're doing it in London. Let's find 6 London coaches that want to partner with us and let's run ads in London and have the London 12-week peak. You know, the events are in London, the photo shoots in London, the black tie balls in London.
Coaches from London, or would you your coaches?
Well, I'd probably have 2 from up here be like the program leads, and then I'd get people down there that could have the meetups. Again, I'd do Dubai first just because I've lived there and I've got a lot of contacts there. So I think like the next place we'll launch a 12-week peak won't be Manchester, London, or Liverpool or Edinburgh. It'll be Dubai, which there's actually a bigger demand for it there as well. Demand, it's massive there. Would be massive.
A couple of things that we touched on in the last podcast that I definitely wanted to cover. A quote: "When you stop getting mad with it, your life generally gets better." I think that was in reference to when you were in Dubai. Versus now. But you said that basically, like, go through periods of not drinking alcohol or reducing your alcohol intake because you've seen a big difference in your business.
I grew up in the west of Scotland, so I've heavily binge drunk since I was like 14 years old on golf courses. So if I look at any period where I've had massive physique, business, relationship, or life success, or it's like leveled up, it's largely because I've stopped drinking as much alcohol. If I look at the periods where I've never had depression, but when I've been the most depressed, the most anxious, business feels like it's falling apart, and I have no clarity, it's largely the periods where I've drank the most alcohol. Now, with that being said, I'm not going sober because I quite enjoy drinking a few times per year. But every single year since I've sort of got older, it's dramatically decreased. And even this year, I'm like, there's probably like five events that I've got earmarked that I'm like, cool, I'm gonna have a drink at that. But yeah, like the states that I used to get into were just abysmal. Dubai specifically, like blackout drunk every weekend. I have some stories I'll tell you after the podcast about that. But
we're taking the team to Dubai in February.
Amazing.
So you need to tell us where we're going.
Have you been before?
I've been 10 years ago or something like that.
Have you not been recently?
No.
Class, where are you staying?
We're staying in Dubai Creek.
Oh, nice.
And we've got a couple of plans around there, and a couple of meetings and stuff. But the plan is I can't tell you because there's a couple of them in the room.
Fair.
And there's a couple of surprises.
Nice.
But we've got it kind of.
Yeah, Dubai's incredible. Like, it's a very like, you know, it's superficial and it's full of influencers and like people hate that side of it. But see, for just like thinking big, connections, socialising, unbelievable. And just seeing the scale of things, you're like, fuck me. Like, you know, the UK plays it small in a lot of ways in comparison to somewhere like that.
Be interesting to see what the guys think when we're out there as well.
Some people, like my dad, hates it, but my dad loves going somewhere with a museum. Dubai has maybe one museum, and that's it. So, you know, it's got no culture, but it's a new country. Like, you can't expect it to have much culture. Like, it's been around for like 70 years.
I don't buy into that soulless chat. Like, it's not.
No, it's what you make of it. I think there's plenty of people that like it and plenty of people that hate it. I've got quite a balanced view of it now. Like, I had a period where I was like, it's the best fucking place on earth, and I've been back a few times since I moved home, and I'm like, I wouldn't live here again. It's not.
Really?
It's not.
How long did you live? A year?
Just a year. Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Callum was on the podcast. We're going to get him back on the podcast because again, his business is like quadrupled in size since then. But he had a big rant that we actually had to take out,
Really?
and it was like it's like what people's perception of Dubai is versus what his perception of the UK is. As someone who's lived both, and it was an interesting part, but there was some.
I'm not like I'm not a UK hater. There's a lot. There's some good about living in the UK. Clean air, clean water.
People ripping your project off, whether it's the 12-week peak, whether it's your brand, whether it's like your content. Like, there's a lot of imitation out there, and it's something that we talked about last time that you talked quite openly. I don't know if it was maybe something that was prominent at that time, but there was someone who done like the 12-week peak, but they spelled peak wrong.
Yeah. There's 12-week peak physiques, which is some guy in Liverpool who's also bald, but he's in much better shape than me. And yeah, 12-week peak physiques, but weak is spelt like weakness, W-E-A-K, on some of his branding, and normally W-E-E-K. So like the guy's a fucking moron, but yeah, he totally ripped it off. I've had someone completely copy the MTN name in the Glasgow space. See, if you're like further afield, I don't really care. Like, doesn't really interrupt my business. But there's a gym in Glasgow that's branded as MTN. So yeah,
There's
trademarks.
MTN gym. Is it like
It's
another
CrossFit.
name?
It's CrossFit MTN, and it stands for something else. But I've reached out to them. I don't mind calling these businesses out because they knew what they were doing because they both followed me. So fuck them. So you could take that bit out if you like. Do you know what? Like, see, with regards to the program and content, like I imitate people's content. No, nobody's that original in my opinion with content. There's a few people that are like the holy grail that come up with ideas and whatever else. And let's be honest, most other people's things are ripping off little bits of it and making it their own.
Yep.
Fitness is the same. Fitness, like we spoke about earlier, it's the same shit being delivered by different people. What you want to do is make sure people like you because you are the one delivering it. So I've been big on that. Like, there's nothing that original in the fitness space. If I look at the 12-week peak, I followed a guy, Jamie Alderton, growing up, big kind of fitness model, big in the UK fitness scene. He used to have something called J8, which was like an 8-week challenge. I took inspiration from that 100%. So taking inspiration from things
and
is
you even said that you've bought other people's programs.
100%,
You've seen what you like about what other people are doing.
You look at agencies. Agencies largely deliver the same thing in a similar way, but it's like it's how it's delivered and it's who it's delivered by that makes it stand out. Customer service, customer experience, whatever else. So I'm not like one of these people that's like, I've got this original idea. Like, I do think like there's very few things. I read a book once called.
You shared that a couple
I can't
of times.
remember. What was it? It wasn't Super Consumers. The premise of the book was selling in a category of one. So rather than talking about being the best or being better or beating all your competitors, it was like, don't have competitors, like sell in a category of one. And that's kind of what I've wanted to build with the 12-week peak, because like I said, like every PT gives you a training plan. You've got a coach with most PTs. There's some sort of check-in. There's some sort of nutrition. Maybe there's a meet-up at the weekend. Some programs have got a photo shoot. But I was like, what aspects of this how can I take all of these aspects and roll it into one thing? So yeah, cool. We have all this mindset training, nutrition stuff that every PT has, but there's a fitness photo shoot, there's events every weekend, there's now a black tie ball, there's competition, there's prizes. There's a lot of like things all rolled into one. And I actually think, especially in Scotland, there's quite literally nothing like it. I think if you went worldwide, cool, there's similar business models. But I do think within Scotland, we sell in a category of one, which I think makes it quite easy for me to sell when people say,
when you say sell in a category of one, do you mean like there's nothing else like it? You create something that's completely unique, that you're not, like you say, you're not.
I'm not competing with anyone else.
You're not competing with anyone.
If someone says, like there's this program and it's $350 instead of ours, which is $450, well, I can say, well, that's fine. It's not the same thing. Whereas I think if you look at personal training, it's like, that PT is 40 quid and that one's 35 quid. I'll just go with the cheaper one because it's largely the same fucking thing. Whereas I think with us, we're trying to deliver something that's very, very different. So that we're not actually competing with anyone else. And yes, there's a broad, like we're competing with fitness businesses as a generality, but there's nothing quite like the 12-week peak. Even the guy's program that kind of ripped off our program, I've looked to see what's inside it and it's dog shit. So
you signed up for it?
I've not signed up for it. I've just seen what's in it by knowing people that have done it. So yeah.
One other thing that I made a note that you talked about on the last podcast, I was like, I definitely want to make sure we get that in. And it's actually a social media post that you've done about building your dream life. And it's just a process that you went through yourself, but you also go through it with your coaches and the one-to-ones and have them kind of design what they want and then reverse engineer it. Yeah. Can you talk to us about it?
Yeah, I think like lifestyle design, like I said, like I think there's lots of things that I could do for my business that would lead to me making a lot more money. But I kind of look at that and I'm like, what's the payout? What's the sacrifice that I need to make? Is it less time with my baby? Cool, don't want to do that. Is it moving country? Cool, I don't want to do that. Like I know I could keep more money if I moved to Dubai. Like I wouldn't need to pay the same taxes I pay right now. The sacrifice of that is my parents not being able to see my baby. Cool, I don't want that. That's a sacrifice I'm not willing to make. So I just across the last few years, or to be honest, like the last 10 years, I read Think and Grow Rich when I was super young. The book by Napoleon Hill. I was going to say Napoleon Dynamite there.
No, definitely not.
What a film. And it sort of opened my eyes to sort of just being like, well, what life do you want? Because like most of the things that I want, somebody else has had. And I also like looking at, well, somebody else has got them, but was also dealt a harder circumstance. That's really motivating for me. Seeing someone that's came from, a worse upbringing than me, worse financial situation, past trauma, whatever else, and they've made it to be successful. I'm like, okay, I can do it. Like, I've had a pretty easy ride growing up. Like, if they've done it, I can do it. That's really motivating for me. So the process for me is just breaking it down into all of the areas of your life that you perhaps want to improve. So family, business or career, health, fitness, physique, finances, spirituality for some people, not one that I certainly look at, overall lifestyle. So like looking at all the areas of your life, and it's different for some people. Some people have religion, some people have whatever else, hobbies and interests, adventure, travel, things like that. So I just look at all those areas, and I do this 3-4 times a year. Look at them. How right now do I feel out of 10 that I'm at with that? 10 is like nothing could be better. 1 is this area is dog shit.
You actively do this?
Yeah,
How often do you do it?
4 times a year, probably, like every quarter. At least twice, but usually quarterly. Look at the areas, then I'll look at the 3 areas that I want to make the most improvements in.
Right.
Thereafter, what are the biggest drivers that would make improvements in those areas? Thereafter, what are the things that I can put in my diary on a weekly or monthly basis that would move me forward to those things? Get to work. I've just, like, that's, again, it's not rocket science. It's a really simple process of what are you not happy with? What would make you happier with, like, in that area? What are the things that would get you a little bit closer to it? Like I said, I'm quite process driven. I'm quite like methodical, and I can break things down quite well.
Do you think you're process driven because of your fitness background? Because I've used this analogy before where businesses kind of run about like headless chickens trying to make money. Mm-hmm. But if you wanted to like lose weight or like change your physique, you would go, right, that's what I want to do. What do I need to do to do that? And then you'd reverse and you'd basically create a plan.
Yeah.
And it would probably be a timed plan with deadlines, with goals. But not all businesses do that.
Yeah,
I think that you like kind of implement what you do or what you've done for people from a fitness point of view.
I see
on that.
Quite a lot of people, like people that have got in really good shape, have an upper hand with running a business because the kind of process of doing so is quite similar. You look at what the end goal is, you think about how you're going to work back, how long, I want to lose 10 kilo, right? Well, I know that safely I can lose 1% of my body weight every single week. I weigh 80 kilo, cool, I can lose 0.8 kilo for the next, if I do that for 12 weeks, that'll be my 10 kilo. You can work backwards and you can kind of do things that way. So there's like a method to it.
Yeah.
Business is the same. I want to make 100 grand this month. What are, how many sales do I need to do that? How much VAT do I need to pay on those sales? What's the overall running costs? So you can sort of break things down that way. Yeah. So I always say to people, like, if you've got in really good shape, like some of the processes that you've taken from that are repeatable. But equally, 100%. You could look at that from any level of success. Like if somebody's a really good guitar player, piano player, they can speak multiple languages. It's like, well, how did you get good at that? You probably broke it down into manageable chunks and you sort of built a process to kind of continually make progress there.
I do think that there's definitely a theme there of like when people do that and they get themselves into good shape or they follow something through and see. I remember somebody saying, maybe Alex Hormozy that said like, sign up for something really hard and fucking do it.
Yeah.
Is that because it makes a big difference to like how consistent you can be?
That is genuinely something that we say, and it's a big selling point for the 12-week peak. I'm like, cool, if you get a 6-pack, amazing. Like it's going to help us market our business. Thank you, I appreciate that. But I was like, more than that, the integrity that you build, the discipline that you build, and the fact that you've just shown yourself for the first time in your adult life that you can stick to something that you said you were going to do, 100%. That leads into every area of your life. And that's why I say like a lot of people that do the 12-week peak run businesses and they're like, fuck me, my business get better. I was like, they assume that it would get worse because they're on low calories, they're struggling with energy maybe towards the last few weeks, and they're like, actually the opposite happened. Like I had more energy, I was more focused, and if anything, I just proved to myself that I can set myself a 3-month quarterly goal and I can stick to it. And I think that opens up, right, if I can do that and that was really hard, then I can do this.
As someone who's doing your program right now, there's a dopamine element to it as well. Like when you go and you complete something that's like one of your tasks you need to do today, and it's like bang, that then carries
it's rewards
through.
Based, it's gamified, whatever else.
And
that's something we want more of.
You won't mind me saying Dave Gallagher, who I worked with, fourth, his performance at work dramatically improved the more he ran, and now he's a like ultra runner, and he performs at a really high level. And it's like, and that he wrote a post on LinkedIn about that, about the impact that regular exercise and having goals every day and achieving something before you've even started the day kind of like that filtered through into his work.
If you look at the stereotypical idea of like a big American CEO that works in a corporation, like the picture that I still get in my head is like quite an overweight guy. Because like back in the day, that's what it was. It was just this big fat rich guy. Like that's what people viewed as. And I often think when you see some of these CEOs that run these like multi-million and billion-dollar companies, I'm like, I wonder if it would function better if they. Like you look at people like Jeff Bezos, Hormozy, whatever else, even Mark Zuckerberg, like of that level, cool, like the absolute pinnacle of success. They're all in mad shape now. Like health is like very, very high on their priority list. And I do wonder, would it have helped them when they were coming up, or would it have been a distraction that took away from all of the other stuff that we're doing?
Eddie Hearn described it like being fit in your 40s and into your 50s as like the biggest flex you can have.
100%.
Because you can't short circuit it, you can't buy it, you can't cheat it.
Well, there's more
You have to
millionaires
put the work
in the US with six packs. Sorry, there's more people with there's more millionaires in the US than there is people with six packs.
No.
Yeah. Something like 9% of the US are millionaires. Something like it's as high as that, and the actual percentage of people with six packs is like 0.3.
What's your thoughts on six packs though?
I have one if you want one.
But like, I'd want to be in good shape,
Yeah.
but I like food too much.
Oh, I love this phrase. Oh, let me go to town.
All right,
Let me go to town on this phrase.
Strap in.
Do you think you love food more than me?
No.
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 So, okay, I have abs year round. Why don't you? Because you just said it's because you love food too much.
No. I think no, and it is definitely it's consistency. It's being able to.
People say that to me all the time. I can never diet because I like food too much. I'm like, I fucking love food. I've just learned how to like do other things that allow me to eat a ton of food. I'll just laugh.
And you will eat more than me.
Like
100%.
Clients say that all the time to us. They're like, I could never diet. I just love food. It's like, do you think lean people hate food?
So what I think I mean by that is that a six pack is not my actual end goal.
Yeah.
What I want from and I'm going to do the 12-week peak and for
You're going to get a six pack.
June.
I can guarantee it.
Really? From the 12-week peak?
100%.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
So, but when we run this back in June, what I actually want to do is get myself into a good space where I'm actually taking time away from work and and spending a bit of time myself. And the actual end goal for me is not the six pack.
Yeah.
It's the other things that I think will come with it.
It's the sense of fulfillment from sticking to a goal that you said you were going to do.
100%. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
And you've also made a very, very kind offer because you're using our office to shoot the trailer coming up, that our whole team, the team in the UK are going to do the 12-week peak.
We're going to do an internal competition with your team.
Right, okay.
I'll figure it out.
Aye,
But whoever gets the best result out of you guys will do something else.
Aye.
Yeah. So yeah, I think like the six pack thing's like I don't care if people want a six pack, but the six pack for you will be a byproduct of the other thing that you want. You want the level of I actually stuck to something because I've been struggling to stick to something for a while. Now I stuck to something, boom, I feel good.
Yep.
And you'll be like, oh cool, also I got abs. A lot of people it's I want abs, and I'm like, cool. It's not like why do you want abs?
Yeah.
Like kind of boiling down to like why do you actually want that? And then at the end of it, they're like, oh, like the fulfillment's better than the six pack. I'm like, yeah, you're right.
So we also had this debate yesterday when we were listening to the podcast, right? So I'm coming to the very end. But I was speaking to Lauren about how many people actually sign up and want to win the money, because I've signed up to the 12-week peak and I'm like, that's not the reason that I want to do it. And I don't know, how many people do you think that sign up for the 12-week peak go, I'm signing up because I want to win the money?
It's hard to say. We don't know, because even when you ask people, so what I will say is males are very open about saying they're competitive and females aren't.
They want to win it.
Yeah. So
females who sign up and go, I'm going to win this, because I'm like, for me, I'm signing up and I'm going to complete this program.
Yeah, and do my best.
I'm genuinely not going, I want to win.
Yeah.
I don't even want to beat the other guy. I just want to make sure that
the hardest thing is the people that want to win that don't win, because it's like it's
that's what I was going to say. And there's easier ways to win $2,000,
or make $2,000. It's super subjective as well. Like this is one of my drawbacks, or things that I don't love about the 12-week peak, is the fact that I'm quite literally at the end of it looking at 300 photos and trying to judge who I think has made the biggest change without taking into consideration all of the other shit that these people have gone through in their life, whatever else. So it's hard. Like it's completely subjective, but equally it's competition. There's winners, there's people that don't win. I'll not say losers. I've said it now, losers. So there's there is, and every year there's people that get pissed off because they don't win, but equally they would get pissed off if they ran a race and someone beat them in it. So I'm like, yeah.
So you're gonna have 700 people sign up and 695 of them are gonna be fucking losers by the end.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, that's how we sell it.
David, if people want, like I say, we'll put a link below if anyone wants to actually get involved in the 12-week peak. If people want to follow you, where can they find you?
Instagram, my personal one is dhat_MTN. And my business Instagram's MTN Coaching. We're on Spotify, YouTube. Just type in MTN Coaching. MTN stands for Mindset Training Nutrition. So MTN, not NTM, like a lot of people think. It's also
not. It's also the 12-week peak is not a mountain.
No, a lot of people like MTN's mountain coaching. I've shot myself in the foot because our logo also looks like a mountain.
So it's like your logo looks like a mountain. MTN looks like mountain, and then your competition and your biggest thing's the 12-week peak.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, maybe one day we'll just move into mountaineering, but for now it's fitness.
Right. And if you've watched this podcast right to the end and you start to get retargeted by David's ad, you know that we've then showed him a campaign. If you got a bit of value from this podcast and you think that it could be worth it to someone else, please share it. Follow, like, drop me a message, let me know what you think. Connect with David, and I'll see you on the next episode of the Business Playbook.